If you ever want to prove that the blues scale works a lot better on a tonic chord than on a dominant chord, then you should check out the Kenny Burrell solo on Broadway. In this video, I'm going to analyze a few phrases from that solo, and you're going to see how he's really great at using the blues, but you're also going to see how he's working with motifs and riffs and moving them around on top of the meter in a more intuitive, more natural way, probably coming out of swing, and not so much in a let's hide the one and play sophisticated rhythms kind of way. My name is Jens Larsen. If you want to learn more about jazz guitar and use that to make music, then subscribe to my channel. If you want to make sure not to miss anything, then click the little bell notification icon next to the subscribe button. In this first example, it's already clear that Kenny Burrell is using sort of short melodies that he's turning into riffs, and that he's using a lot of blues, and also that the short melodies that he's using are actually moved around on top of the meter. So the first statement that he's using this is in the second A of the first chorus, is just really a C major blues or a C major pentatonic type of phrase. So starting on the 6 and then just really just using major pentatonic sounds. Then he repeats it, but now it's moved from the 1 end to the 4 end. And then the song goes from C major to F7, and he's using that. I think he's kind of turning the F7 into a C minor F7. So he's moving up to that. I talked about that with how Parker uses blues also, that he'll go from 1 to 4 by playing 1 and then 1 minor on the 4 dominant. And that's kind of what's happening here. So the phrase is now, instead of sliding up to the major third, he's sliding up to the minor third. So we get this development of the phrase. And from here he turns that into sort of a bebop cliche, which is really kind of a harmonization of a C minor F7 using the line cliche. This next example is on the bridge of the first chorus, and the bridge of Broadway consists out of two 2-5-1 progressions. The first one is to the 4th degree, so to F major, and here on the G minor 7 he comes out with a line that's really just based on the B flat major 7 arpeggio, so the arpeggio from the 3rd of the G minor. Then he quite clearly, with the flat 13, he's moving to the C7, and it's like a C7 altered, with an altered line, and then resolving to the 5th of F major, and then he tags that with a phrase that again it's clear that he's really thinking or hearing a lot of blues on the tonic chords here. I think it's also interesting to see that if you compare Kenny Burrell to somebody like Pat Martino, then he is pretty much always leaving a lot of space within his line. His lines are not really dense and long. There's always a strong rhythmical element to what is going on. I think that's quite clear in this example as well. This is another example of how Kenny Burrell is using the blues as much as he's using the chord changes to create a story or to create tension and release within his solo. So here he's starting with really just a short major blues motif. So we have the... And then he develops that, turns that more and more towards minor blues, and really using the minor blues as sort of a dominant sound that he then resolves back into the major sound. So we first get the main statement, and then developing that and going to the F7. Adding a response to it, so a tag to it, and then moving on to more minor blues, also adding some more rhythmical tension by not playing on the 1 but playing just around it, and then we get the minor blues sound resolving back to the major sound. I think it's also clear, as you can see in these examples, that Kenny Burrell is really, probably because he's working with Benny Goodman, at least I think he's working with Benny Goodman when this is recorded, he's not really in the higher part of the chord. He's spending much more time sort of around the basic triad notes on the tonic chords, and he's never really playing the major 7. There are a few examples of him using major 7s in the melody on major 7 chords in in this song, but most of the time he's much more in the triad, he's much more lower in the chord. And here again, root, third, and then maybe the sixth, but it's really just much lower in the chord and a lot less on the extensions. The reason that I can keep on publishing videos every week is that there is a community of people over on Patreon that are supporting the channel. I'm very grateful for their support, and it's because of them that I can keep on making all these jazz guitar and music theory videos. If you want to help me keep making videos, then check out my Patreon page, and if you join us over on Patreon, I can also give you something in return for your support. This example is a little bit later in the solo. It's the first 2-5-1 on the bridge, and here we clearly can see how he's, when there's moving harmony like this, where also we really have a cadence and there's some reason to play some harmony, then he really starts using more extensions and more arpeggios and a lot less blues on top of the harmony here. We get first the G minor 7, which is just being played as a G minor 11 arpeggio, moving up to what should be either a C7 also, but I think in this case he's really thinking of it as a tritone substitution, so really like a G flat 7, so really up to the E flat. And because we have this line which is sort of coming out of a D flat minor 7 arpeggio, or minor 9th arpeggio, then I think that's probably more like a G flat Mixolydian line than it's a C7 altered line. And then when he resolves this, really back to the root, so in that way, really low in the chord and not staying up in the high, not even the third, but really back to the root. If you want to check out another guitar player who's also really famous for mixing blues and bebop together in a nice way, then check out this video where I'm analyzing a solo from Grant Green. If you want to learn more about jazz guitar and it's the first time you see one of my videos, then subscribe to my channel. If you want to help me keep making videos, then check out my Patreon page. That's about it for this time. Thank you for watching, and until next time.